Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Scarfinger, and this is Scarfinger's. No, this is Scarcasm. Yeah, that's the word. I was like, blah, 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 blah. You know what? I'm gonna tell you, man. My day's been fucked up. Chase is in the building, of course.
Yeah, it sounded like you're about to be like, I'm Scarfinger, and this is Scarfinger's Playhouse.
Yeah, some fucked up shit like that. Let me tell you, the last couple of days at work have been super boring, like so boring. Like it's like Monday was pretty busy. Mm-hmm. As Mondays tend to be because you have to deal with all of the stuff from the weekend, but the last couple of days have been super boring. Like, I haven't done a whole lot of quotes. I haven't booked a whole bunch. It's just been me sitting there watching fucking YouTube and painting videos and being on fucking, Facebook. And, you know, sometimes occasionally I would get on Discord. But of course I don't get the notifications from Discord. So I have to like physically remember to go to Discord to see if there's anything happening. Mm-hmm. Or like when you tell me that there's something in Discord. So like it's been super boring and it's just completely fucked everything up because before I just felt like I didn't have, there's not enough time in the day. Now it's too much fucking time because I'm not, you know, like when work is slow, like it feels like work takes forever. And it's not like I could just take a fucking nap or some shit. Like work takes forever. For the last few days. And I know that's going to change soon because the busy season is coming, when it starts warming back up. But like for right now, this shit is for the fucking birds. Like super for the fucking birds. So, yeah. So that's what's happening for me right now at work. Oh, yeah. And another thing. My TV stopped working today.
What happened to it?
I don't know. I went to turn it on. The light turned on. I heard like a small popping sound, and now the TV won't turn on, and it's just blinking. So
Is that the new one?
No, this is the old one. Because the new one is like there's some things attached to it that we was trying to get a stand for it and all of this other stuff before I put it in here and switched everything to it. But I was going to keep my TV and I was just going to put it in a different room. I was actually going to put that one in the bedroom and then move the new TV out here. After we got a stand for it, because right now it's on the top of a desk. I couldn't switch this TV and put it on the desk because this TV is much heavier, and the thing to hold the TV up is in the middle, and it would fucking crush that desk. Right. Well, the new TV, it has those feet that's on the outside, so it's closer to the edges of the desk. So it's a lot lighter than my TV, so it's easier to stand up and all that other shit. But so like we was like, okay, we'll just put this in the room for now, and we'll figure the rest out. And now
I had that problem with the newer TVs because we had at one point they were making the entertainment centers to where they were like these stacks, and then there's a little spot for your TV because the TVs had a stand in the middle. But now these TVs can't fit on those because they have little screws.
Right. Yeah, and so it's a little bit different, and because of the way my TV is, the stand that I'm using right now, it's narrower on the sides, so I can't really use that. I may have to figure out a way. Mm-hmm. But right now it just really sucks. I think some people said it's a board that may need to be replaced or some shit like that. I mean, I've had this TV since like 2009 or some shit. Like, so it's been a while, and I've had this TV, and plasmas don't really last that long.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? So at the time it was the best deal, because they were trying to get rid of the plasmas. So it may be time to move on. It's just not time for my wallet to move on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not really that time for my wallet to move on from this. So now I got to figure out what the hell I'm gonna do. I guess, using the other TV for a while, and trying to figure out a way to do that and hook my consoles up and all of that other shit, is going to be the order of the day, but it's just kind of...
Well, at least, like...
It's kind of sucky.
when you are ready, like a good 1080 LED is like super cheap, because like you can't even really find any plasmas or LCDs anymore. Like they're all LEDs, which.
Well, let me tell you what happened. So when we went to buy the TV that we got, the new one, we were going to buy a 4K TV, blah, 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 whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't have that model. So we looked around and we found a decent model, same basic price range. And it wasn't until we got it home that we realized that this one was not 4K. And this one is, a 1080p LED smart TV.
Mm-hmm.
So we still don't have the 4K. Not that I have anything that does 4K yet.
Right.
But like having something that does 4K would be awesome. So I guess that's what we're going to look into next.
Cool.
So, yeah. So how's your week?
Well, my actual week has been pretty normal. Well, I guess there's one thing that is kind of topical is that we drove down Raleigh Road and they moved that house. Like they actually moved it. Like me and Aiden saw it on a truck, and he was like, "Our old house is on a truck." I was like, "Yep, they can do that."
Yeah.
It's like I bet you didn't know you can move houses, but
yeah,
yep.
That happens.
But because he was thinking about just tearing it down, but then a guy that I actually went to school with got it, so him and his little boy are going to live there, which is it's kind of weird, that.
Right.
The house that I lived in is now going to be moved. Because it's one thing when someone ends up living in your old house, but another thing that someone that is going to be living at your old house somewhere else.
In a different location. Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess I could get some things out of the way that's not really in the other categories, because is that the Discord is actually up and running pretty good. I mean, it's not the most active thing in the world, but it's been more active than the other things, which is pretty cool. And I've got the things all organized in different little categories, and pretty much all the categories have had stuff in it except for TV. I think every other category has had somebody say something in except for TV.
Okay.
But and our question of the week, but we haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way. We had some questions for the podcast. Mach 20 asked if you were going to play Danganronpa.
I had no idea what that is.
It's a Japanese horror visual novel.
Yep, I'm out.
Well, you heard it from the mouth of babe, the mouth of babes. The mouth of babes right here.
Yeah, straight up. I was like, I don't even know what that is. That don't sound like anything I would be interested in.
And Husky asked, do we even lift?
I do sometimes. I still pay for it. I still pay for my gym membership, but I don't really remember the last time I went. Let me tell you what happened, right? So last time I went, me and my girl went, and we bought the little bag and all of that stuff, like the workout bag and all of that shit. And we were like, yeah, we're going to start going back. And we bought the bags and hell yeah, we're going to do this. And we ain't been back since. I use that fucking bag to take shit to work now. I use that to take shit to work. I don't even use it the way I'm supposed to.
Is it Planet Fitness?
Yes, it's a Planet Fitness.
Dude, Planet Fitness, I was going pretty regularly at one point. And how they do their freaking billing is like a freaking cell phone service, because you can't get out of that shit without paying $50, and it renews every year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, is there really weigh myself? They don't even have scales in that place. They're
they have a scale in mine.
They were like, we accept you the way you are, and I'm like, well, what's the point of the gym? It's just to go.
It's not a gym. It's a health club.
Well, what's the point of a health club if you're not getting healthier?
Because you don't want gymtimidation.
Right. But weighing myself is a gymtimidation. The big When I was younger, when I was a teenager, I went to a smaller gym with my buddy of mine, and I was using one of the machines, and this big old freaking meathead looking dude, he come up to me, he was like, "You done playing yet?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm done."
You right now.
Yeah. but but yeah, the next question comes from Latina Mafia, and she asked she said that she is on the road again for training, and she wonders if we would rather fly, or would you rather fly, or do you enjoy a road trip more, like by car?
I have never been on an airplane.
You never.
So I can't say that what I would rather do because I've never been on an airplane. So I can't say that I would prefer it over driving. Now, here's the thing. Mm-hmm. I love road trips. I don't necessarily love driving on road trips that often. When I do road trips, the only thing that really keeps me into it is just basically singing the whole way.
Yeah.
I never really drove that far. It's not really a whole lot of places that I've been outside of the East Coast, basically. So one time I drove, previously from Newport News, the furthest I've ever really driven was maybe an hour or two away from my home area. And then I drove to Massachusetts in one go. It was 13 hours. And then someone was like, well, how the fuck did you go from basically driving to Williamsburg or Virginia Beach to all of a sudden driving all the way to Massachusetts? And I'm like, video games. How the fuck, if there's anybody in your life right now that you can understand sitting in one spot with their hands in front of them, looking at the exact same thing for hours on end, who else would you suggest be able to pull that off?
Right.
It was it's definitely me. That type of thing. So it's one of those, I only enjoy it when I'm singing the whole time. But if I'm driving, if I'm not driving, then I enjoy the ride. And I am an excellent riding partner, unlike my girlfriend. Cause my girlfriend would just fall the fuck to sleep. And she would and I'm like, yo, I ain't got nobody to talk to. When she driving, I navigate, make sure she's going the right ways and, that type of thing. I'm doing all of this shit and I'm being attentive, suggesting things, and I'm just being a good riding partner. And she is the worst riding partner ever because all she does is just go to fuck to sleep.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah, I don't know, man. I've flown before, but it's not, we just, well, I say recently, but recently in my life, I guess, we went to Kansas to visit some of Amber's family. And I mean, it's cool and all, but in theory, you would like the road trip more because it's more social and you get that extra, you get your vacation, but you also get that part of the vacation that is the trip, right? But it's also kind of cool, being I'm going halfway across the country and we got here in 2 hours.
Exactly. That's the part that I think that I would enjoy about flying. Cause going to the couple times I went to Alabama, do you know how long those fucking drives are? It takes from Newport News, you got to go through all of this extra shit just to get to 85. You know what I'm saying? It takes 3 hours just to get to 85 from Newport News and stuff like that. So here it's completely different because, in Richmond, I just get on 95 and then in not even 40 minutes from here, I can get on 85 from 95. It goes straight.
Yeah, because you probably go 95 to 40 and then 40 to 85, and then that goes down through Charlotte and on the way.
Something like that. I don't know. I'm just following the GPS. Like, I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like I'm really thinking that hard about it. Like, I'll just follow the GPS. The GPS says turn here. All right, I go there.
Yeah. Or do it like a real road trip and have an actual navigator, like person that's actually attentive, like next to you that doesn't have a GPS and they have a freaking map.
No.
That's kind of fun.
We are not going to do that. We're not going to do that. That's not going to happen. But yeah, I've going to like Alabama and stuff like that. Like, my girlfriend was nervous the first time we went, and she didn't want to drive through like Atlanta because of the traffic and all that other stuff, going through Atlanta. And I'm like, I drove through New York. I think I could drive through fucking Atlanta. You know what I mean? Like, I think I could get through Atlanta just fucking fine.
Could you?
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't have no issues. The traffic wasn't that bad when I drove through. And even when I came back, there was a little bit but the traffic was still pretty much moving.
Yeah.
So there's that part of it, but
yeah, I think Raleigh and Charlotte are pretty close to freaking New York. They get pretty bad around rush hour.
Well, I mean, Richmond's pretty bad. Richmond can be pretty stinking bad. Like, I'm pretty sure that you've heard all kinds of horror stories about Virginia drivers. And it's, a lot of that is true, especially in Northern Virginia. Northern Virginia is the absolute worst, and actually it was rated worst traffic in the United States, and that includes LA traffic. Northern Virginia, 95, after you go past like Fredericksburg and stuff like that, like that stretch going to like DC and shit like that is the absolute worst traffic in the United States.
Huh. Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's terrible. But yeah, man, so let's get into the show, man.
Cool, man.
Oh, should I talk about my paintings and stuff now, or should I talk about them later?
That's up to you, man. Yeah, I mean, we can get the community. I guess we could add a new category of, a community section. But
well, I mean, you already asked the questions that we were asked, and we were just talking about that. I would just say that I started my painting challenge. I'm doing a painting a day all the way through April. And so far, I've kept up with it. I've even made little smaller, little 8x10 paintings here and there. Yesterday, I did your suggestion. Mm-hmm. And I did 2 of those. I like the first one that I did a little bit more than the second one, though.
I like them both, but they're 2 different feelings. Like the first one is more, seems a little bit more upbeat, more brighter, and the second one seems a little bit more subdued.
I think in the second one, a little bit more of that. Like, I added, because you said you wanted green, yellow, and yellow, but I added a smidge of white. Mm-hmm. I added a smidge of white, and then I added a darker green. And in the second painting, that dark green really came through a lot more than the first one. In the first one, you can see it, like, when you look up close, you can see it like in the cells, and then you can see it in the corners, but you don't see a whole lot of that dark green. In the official painting of the day, it definitely a lot of that showed up. But I was watching videos at work, of course, because I didn't have much else to do. So I learned a different way to do it. Like, you make the cup the same. Well, actually, no, you don't make the cup the same. You do it a little bit differently, and then how you pour it out is different. And I really enjoyed that. So I did both paintings the same way. It's just one of them that dark green showed up a little bit more than the other, and the way it got stretched, it kind of looks like a sailfish, or like the thing from Jurassic Park 3. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
So it has a little bit of that in it. But so far I'm really enjoying this. And there's been a couple of suggestions. And I'm kind of writing down everything that I want to do. I got it in a Google Keep document. So I'm just kind of checking off the ones that I actually do. Today I did, something that was based off of a video that I watched today, where I used Mardi Gras colors and I added some black to it just as a little bit of contrast. And I really like both of those. I only posted one. I need to put the other one back in the better lighting to post the other one. But I'm really enjoying making these paintings, and I'm having a lot of fun with it.
That's cool, man. Yeah, was that last one that you posted? Was that the one you have one the kind of metallic? Was that the one from Latina?
No, I have not done that one yet because I have not. I have not bought the copper yet.
Cool. I just noticed it kind of had like a metallic look.
Yeah, it's all metallic actually. The one that the Mardi Gras colors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's all metallic paint, including the black. Well, I mixed the black with regular black and some black metallic, so it is all metallic. I like working with metallics because it dries faster than the other colors. I mean, it dries than the other types of paint. So because that looks cool, like corrosion sort of, or like that kind of look when you're like, you know how when cars like leak. The whatever they leak, and then like oil over water.
Yeah,
and it has kind of like rainbow effect.
Yeah, because it looks a little bit like that to where it looks cool, man. I dig that one.
I'm at some point I'm gonna start playing around with those paints that are like that are like color shift paints.
Mm-hmm.
But like right now, the paints that I'm buying are not very expensive, and, you know, I keep buying the small ones because the small ones are always on sale. Like, I went to Hobby Lobby, and they had 30% off all of their 2-ounce paints. And they didn't really have the color shift stuff that Michaels has. Like, I shop at Hobby Lobby and Michaels. Eventually, I'll start getting some stuff from Walmart, too, because I got a Walmart gift card that I'm going to use to buy some more expensive paint. Just so I can play with that shit, too. But as for right now, if
you want to drive down here, there is a place called Jerry's Artorama that I used to go to when I was in school, and they have a lot more than like the craft type stores.
Okay.
So I don't know if you can get them online or whatnot, but I remember because they would have the actual. You would go say if I needed because we were doing linoleum printing to where you would take something, you would carve it out of the linoleum and make a print with it and stuff. And places like Michael's, they would have maybe a pack that had this one, but then Jerry's would have every type of chisel and everything that you would need and higher quality and stuff like that. So just things like that, that they might have a little bit more variety.
That might be a thing for when I actually am able to come visit. Hopefully, I will be able to do that at some point soon.
Cool, man.
Soon. I was supposed to do it in January, but then I lost my job in December, and it fucked everything up.
Right.
So the painting stuff is going straight, and I still got to figure out how I'm going to do the giveaway. But I'll get there at some point, and then I'm thinking for my last painting to do one super big, do a super big one and just give that one away. But, it's all a learning process for me, and being able to get suggestions on stuff to do is really helping me out right now. So if you have a suggestion of a painting I should do, let me know. You got all of the contact information. You can do it wherever you need to, Facebook, and, got some suggestions from Facebook, from, Discord. Yeah, Discord, all kinds of shit. So, just keep hollering at your boy. I got to do 30 of these. So today's only day 5. So I got to do 30 of these. So it'll get done.
Cool, man.
All right. So let's get into some stuff. Where you want to start?
We can go into games since it's probably pretty short for both of us.
Okay.
Yeah, I finally picked up Far Cry 5, and I actually picked it up for the PlayStation instead of the Xbox.
Because you found it on sale?
Yep. I found it it was $40, and then I had a pre-order that I didn't go through with, so I used that $5 down to it, so I got over $39. So I was like, yep, I'll get it for PlayStation. And I'm really digging that game, dude. I like it a lot. I mean, I knew I would, but
outside, once you get past all of the stuff that people thought the game was, it's still a Far Cry game.
Right. But the thing is, man, if someone was like, man, that game's unpatriotic. Well, I mean, you've played Far Cry games in the past, right? So you liberate outposts, and like there'll be when you kill the last guy or whatever, there'll be like a little bit of I wouldn't say cutscene. It would like span out and then have this little like music would play. You liberated it. In this one, when you liberate the outposts,
please tell me it's proud to be American.
Fireworks go off, and then there was one of them where every time you would take down their subversion of the American flag, and you put up the actual American flag. And there was one time that the actual resistance were standing around the American flag with their hand over their heart. Okay, unpatriotic. Come on. This game's the most patriotic game I've ever played in my life.
And I heard that stuff just kind of goes away pretty quickly. Like it's, like I get it. Like you're dealing with a religious cult and all of that other stuff, but it doesn't like try to stick that shit to you. Like that's just a setting. But that's not what the game is about. The game is is the same kind of game you've been playing.
Right. And, because one of the main resistance leaders is a pastor. Like the resistance are Christian Americans too. Not two. They're Christian Americans, and the bad guys are like subverting.
I'm free.
So it's taking like.
Won't forget the men who died. And I proudly stand up next to you. I'm gonna tell you for real. After 9/11, I heard that song on the radio and I cried for real. Like that shit really hit me. Like after September 11th, that shit really hit me one day, and that shit really made me cry. Like I was in the car and I was like, "Yo, do I need to pull over right now?" Like I felt that shit that day.
Oh, speaking of crying, dude, I almost teared up in a Far Cry moment. Because you get this dog, right? And when you get him, pretty much you have to go and he's like in a cage or whatnot, and then you kill all the guys around, and then you let him out. And I thought he was just going to come up and be like, "Oh, you let me out," but he like ran off somewhere. I was like, "Okay, where are you going?" So I followed him, and he just lays down and starts whimpering and crying next to his dead owners, and I was like. I had to like stand up and like, I'm like, dude, come on. I was like, it was like trying to come out of there.
And
but
you'll probably stand up next to the dog and defend it still today.
Right.
Because there ain't no doubt you love that dog. God bless the USA.
Yeah. But yeah, like, don't feel offended by
you weren't looking.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw it.
Oh, my salute is still crisp. I was in ROTC all 4 years. My salute is perfect, dog. Even when I'm playing around, my salute is perfect because I practice it so often.
Cool.
It's perfect.
But yeah, like the cult's religion is definitely a subversion of the Christian faith. It's not them saying, "Oh, this is the Christian faith," because like I said, the good guys are not like, it's not like, oh, the atheists versus the Christians. Like, it's not that at all. It's like, the game is very patriotic and very pro not letting people like come in and fuck your shit up.
And it's fucking weird because it's made by a bunch of foreigners.
Yeah. They did a good job at it there.
It's made by a bunch of fucking foreigners and it turns out to be patriotic. What kind of shit is that? Made by a bunch of fucking foreigners.
But yeah. Oh, there's another thing I want to say about it. I remember I listened to some other podcasts and they were like, "Oh, I was doing outposts and stuff or different things around the world," and all of a sudden it just took me out into a story mission, and I wasn't ready for the story mission because I was just wanting to do random stuff. But it's not random. If you open your map and you look, there's a meter, your resistance meter, and there'll be a little circle. When it gets to that circle, the cult is going to fuck you up, and they're going to come, and then you're going to be in a story mission. The story missions aren't on the map anymore. it's actually tied into you doing shit and getting the resistance up. And then you'll get into a story mission. So it's a lot more organic, but it's not random. You know when it's about to happen, because that's why I stopped playing like 30 minutes ago, because I didn't want to all of a sudden get into a story mission and all of a sudden it'll be podcast time. But so yeah, it's not random. Just look at the little meter. You can tell when they're coming. So
word up. I played a decent amount of Killing Floor.
Cool.
I've been playing with randoms again. One day I got in and I started working on a support character.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun. Support character, their main thing is shotguns. And I love being able to use shotguns that I was able to use before. But oh my god, the support character loads the shotgun so much faster.
I told you, dude.
Faster. Yeah.
Like that's why I said to look at my video. I was like, look, I'm using the same gun as you, and look at the video. I was like, it was so fast. It's faster than anybody can realistically do that shit.
But I will tell you, the very first time I have enough money to buy one of the shotguns with a clip, I am on that shit. I'm like, I cannot just keep loading these shells individually. That is not what's hot on these streets. So there's two guns that I end up using. One is that auto shotgun is beast mode. Like even when I was a low level character, I was just blasting fools with that auto shotgun.
Yeah, that. When I used support, that was my my end game weapon. You know what I mean? Because my end game weapon for the demolitionist is the RPG. You kind of figure out what is your boss weapon. That's my boss. I mean,
weapon. it's usually the most expensive weapon,
right?
Because mine with the Firebug is my ending strategy is I get the Mac 10 as soon as I can. Uh-huh. But until I have enough money for a Mac 10, I usually try to get the Spitfires, dual Spitfires, right. And then I get the Mac 10, and then I drop everything. I keep the Mac 10, and then I get a microwave gun for the boss, and that usually works out pretty well for me. And then I usually have one more thing for weight, so I normally get a medic pistol just to be able to help my team if I need to.
Oh yeah, we did have a game night.
Yeah, we totally had a game night. That shit was dope, even though I was late.
Yeah, it was because it really didn't really get started until you showed up anyway. Because that's when we had a really full team. Because and we actually 25 crew. We went. Level 25 for raid.
So we unlocked all of the stuff for the robot.
Did you get your unlocks? Because at first
I did.
I was checking and it wasn't immediate when I got it. I don't know if I have it. I'm gonna
tell you what happened. I was earning those crates, the ones that you don't have to buy the key to unlock.
Yeah.
And it kept saying you earned the crate, and then I kept looking and they weren't there. So I went in the other day. And I had 10 crates. Most of it was weapon skins. 3, two of them were weapon skins I already had. So they didn't, I just broke them down into crafting material that I can't really use because I don't have a whole lot of crafting material. So I ended up, getting all of those crates at one time. But I'm cool with it. I'm really enjoying that game. I wish I had more time to play because I'm right now I'm trying to get my Firebug up to a 25. Then I'm going to get my SWAT up to 25, and then I will start working on other classes.
Yeah, and it seems like it's a seasonal thing. So when the next, which would be cool, something that kind of worked for the when the next season rolls around, it'd be kind of cool if they do something similar that they did with the DAR for every class. Every character, you can kind of earn things for all the characters.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Because so you can be not everyone just to show off their shit just playing as the DAR. Be kind of cool if you were playing as one of the chicks or whatever, and you had some freaking cool ass whatever.
Yeah, I would tell you the weekly this week is when we were playing and they did a round where the enemies got smaller.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you, that is very, very difficult to do when you have a team and 3 of them are firebugs.
It seems like most things would be difficult if you have a team with 3 of them or any of one class.
Yeah. It's extremely difficult to do with 3 firebugs because the firebug, like, we do lasting damage and we do damage over time. But for all of the larger, like, Skrakes and Flesh Pounds in the boss, like, you need somebody in there that does, like, some serious, like, damage to help.
Like, you set him on fire, I hit him with the RPG, and that together does the damage.
Right. But no, we actually got the, we actually got Hans. We got Hans, and Hans just systematically hunted us each down and fucked us all up. So, like, I did the weekly, got to the last level, and he just systematically hunted us all down and fucked us up. And what's the worst part about it is, like, when they're smaller, they're harder to hit, which isn't so bad for all of the things that die fast, but the stuff that fucking, like, Skrakes, Flesh Pounds, and the bosses, when they're tiny and they're harder to fucking hit, and they don't go away very fast and they still do the same amount of damage to you, is really, really fucked up. Like, super fucked up. So, so it was just kind of crazy. And then, like, nobody was playing a class that was, like, super, super strong, except for we had, like, 1 commando. But we had 1 commando, 3 fire, we had and then we had, a medic. And then the last one is just people just rotating in and out of the game. So, like, we didn't even have, like,
that sounds like the worst team ever.
Yeah, it does. I should have switched to SWAT. I should have. But, like, I was only playing that 1 round of the weekly. So, like, after I was done with that, I was done. So, I could have switched in between rounds, but I was just like, nah, I'm going to just let this ride. And then the worst thing happens, like, if you die in a round right after you get, like, some good weapons, it really fucking sucks. Because then you get revived, but you don't have your good weapons, and you don't have enough money to get your weapons back, which is really fucking terrible. So, but yeah, other than that, and like I said, this weekend, hopefully sometime this weekend, I am going to buy it on Xbox, so I'll have it on all 3 of the main platforms. So if anybody want to play some Killing Floor, holla at your boy.
Cool, man.
So, we can go into what we've been watching. I went to see Ready Player One.
How'd you like it versus the book?
On its own, it's a decent movie. Versus the book is some complete fucking bullshit.
So they didn't fit all the shit in the book in the movie?
No, they changed everything.
They changed everything? They changed
everything. Like, there's so much about, like, well, see, the book, I mean, they updated a lot. And added, like, you know, characters from, like, Overwatch and all of this other shit. Because the book is heavily 80s. Mm-hmm. You know, like, in the book, like, this guy dies. He left his almanac, basically, which in the movie got turned into an actual, like, museum. It's like a fucking museum, and, like, so, like, you go to the place to look for the clues and all of this kind of stuff, and you, and the whole point of the book is everybody in efforts to find the Easter egg, they all got immersed into the things that he was into, and he was very into 80s culture, 80s music, 80s TV, 80s, you know, like old anime and all of this other shit, like old video games and stuff like that. So the book is heavily 80s. Mm-hmm. But the movie is updated in a way that kind of works, but if you read the book first, it doesn't really work as well as you would have hoped. So, and like all of the challenges for the keys and the Easter egg are all completely different. All of them are completely different. Like,
I always wondered what's the point of like making a book into a movie if you're gonna like pretty much make it a new thing.
Well, I think we talked about this on the Dream Team. In fact, we spent most of the Dream Team talking about Ready Player One, because they had seen the movie and they had not read the book or listened to the audiobooks. I had, but I hadn't seen the movie at that time. I went to see the movie after that show. So, the whole idea, I think they said, you have to update this with stuff that young people would recognize, because young people are not going to recognize all of that 80s stuff.
But isn't it major 80s shit? It's not like it's going to be...
No, the book is major 80s shit.
Yeah, but major 80s shit.
No, because like the idea of like, like the in the book, the first key, you have to play Joust. Like, who the fuck these days gives a fuck about Joust? But here's the fucked up part about not having Joust in the movie. Mm-hmm. The idea that that's where the fucking title of the book came from. The whole Ready Player One thing is what he says to him when they start to play Joust, because it's what's on the screen.
Right.
So you don't get the whole point of fucking being there, and the whole point of that's the reason why this shit is titled. And like, I totally hate, like, there's a thing that's a huge spoiler in the book, a huge spoiler, and it's telegraphed the whole fucking movie. And if you're paying attention, it's in all of the trailers, but it's a huge spoiler for the book. Like, I mean, mega spoiler for the book, but it's in the trailer.
Right.
And even if you didn't notice it in the trailer, you notice it while watching this movie. Like, you 100% notice while watching the movie. Oh. So I don't know. I mean, that bothered me so much, because the idea that, that one thing was a secret for so long in the book, like, and then like they sped everything up. Like, everything happens boom, 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 boom in the movie. In the book, like, there's a long fucking time in between the first and the second key. When they figure out the first and the second key, there is a long fucking time in between. So, I don't know. It's just kind of weird. And they took out the whole aspect of him being in school. Like, like the other members of the Dream Team, they were confused because they didn't understand the Oasis and why everybody spent all of the time there, and like, how the fuck does money in the Oasis translate to money in the real world? Well, all of that is explained in the book. And why do normal people on the street have the Oasis? Well, that's all explained in the book. Like, that's how they go to school. Like, that's how they do everything. You know what I mean? People have businesses in the Oasis and all of that shit. You totally just put that right in front of the camera. but like, none of that is explained. So there's a lot about the economy of the Oasis that's just not explained in the movie at all. So it's just kind of weird. If you take the movie on its own, it's okay. It's a pretty decent movie. It's not the best movie. It's good. But, if you compare,
it seems like it's that kind of book to where, kind of like Watchmen, to where there's so much shit going on that it's kind of almost impossible to make it into a movie and it makes sense.
Yeah. And we can't have a giant squid monster. Like, we can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, I understand that this is an essential part of the book, but we cannot have a giant squid monster in this movie because no one's gonna fucking get it.
Right.
And the whole, okay, so I think I seen The Watchmen, but I seen it like way after the fact, so I don't remember it too much. But here's the thing. There's a chapter in the book where, Dr. Manhattan is narrating his part of the story, and then he brings old girl to Mars and all of that kind of stuff, and he's talking, and you're not really understanding what he's saying, but he's like explaining that like she's gonna start crying and this is going to happen, and then you're wondering how the fuck do you get there, but you know he's already been there because he's timeless. So
Right.
like and then like you see how she ends up, you know, like you see like them go through the motions and how she ends up living out exactly what he said was going to happen. Like that's stuff that you can't really do in a movie.
Right. And the whole thing to where that there was a side story, that there's a comic inside the comic that had
Yes.
to do with it, and that was pretty much impossible. I mean, if they made it, well, actually any book, if you go actually buy the book, it would be like a freaking it would be like a video game, like a 6 to 12 hour freaking.
Well, the audio book for Ready Player One is 15 hours, almost 16 hours.
Right.
Well, my version of it, you know, I think mine was the audible version.
I mean, that's a tale right there. Like, I mean, I might have said it on the podcast before, but I've always considered books and graphic novels and comics and video games to be long medium, and it's kind of hard to put a video game or a book or a graphic novel into an hour and a half to 2 hour movie. Right. It works better as a television series or a mini series.
Yes, I would have loved Ready Player One as a miniseries, and they actually did the things. The spoiler that I spoke about, it worked for the audiobook because the audiobook only had one person reading it. You know what I mean? It only had one person reading it, and that person didn't change their voice that much. I mean, Will Wheaton read the book for the audiobook. And it's one of those things to where it was him not spoiling it with his voice helped out so much.
Right.
So, but yeah, I really enjoyed that. And outside of that, I'm still watching my DC TV shows. I have not picked up another TV show to binge yet. I'm going to sometime soon though. I think I'm going to finally get around to Stranger Things.
Season 2, or
I have not watched any Stranger Things.
It's good, man.
It's really just something I just never got around to. But hopefully I'll be able to do that soon. Depending on the weather or whether I go to Hampton this weekend, I may be able to get on to it and start. If I don't go to Hampton, then I may be able to finish. At least season 1.
Mm-hmm.
So,
cool.
All right. Go ahead and do your thing. We got to wrap soon.
Cool. Yeah, for movies, man, I haven't really been watching much, but I did have an idea when Blue was talking about how we're aging. He was talking about how we're kind of aging out of gaming and stuff, or like he was. I was like, if we're just kind of getting together for game nights just to talk, why don't we just like watch a movie together? Like
because they took away Netflix parties. I mean, there is a way to do it on the computer through Chrome, but the Netflix parties on 360 was the shit.
Well, I mean, yeah, the Netflix parties are gone, but you can still just like get in the party and just hit play at the same time, and it'd be kind of the same thing.
But it's not the same thing, because even with the Netflix parties, there were some people that were lagging behind a little bit. Like, we were all in the party talking to each other, and then somebody would go, oh, and then like, what the fuck just happened? Oh, okay, I see it. Like, that was still happening. There is an app through Chrome that you can still do Netflix parties. I know when I lived with my cousin and my girl moved up here, we did that a few times, watching TV shows and stuff like that together, and that it actually worked decently well.
Because we can even do that for like, it doesn't really work well for gaming, but it might for like a movie, for like a podcast episode. I mean, it wouldn't work well for just listening to it in your car. Like, use it as like almost like commentary for the movie, to where if someone listens to it, they would have to watch the movie as the podcast is going as well. You know what I mean? Right. To where, so I mean, that'd be kind of cool, because I think Elaine and her crew has done that before, and it worked well. You know, what they were going for. But yeah,
it's probably better to record something like that sitting in the same room, though.
Right.
It's probably a lot better to record that sitting in the same room.
Yeah,
But the Netflix parties thing will work. There is some syncing. Sometimes it'll pause just to make sure that we're on the same thing. Well, it probably did that because my internet was not great at my cousin's because she had the cheapest internet she could buy. Because she's not as internet savvy as I was, so I was kind of scrambling a little bit.
She had AT&T 5 down, like 256 gigabytes up.
Yeah, it was something weird like that. She had the cheapest one as a part of her package, you know. So yeah, but like now that I have decent internet, I want faster internet, but my girl wants me to pay the difference, and she was like, "Well, I don't need the difference. Everything I use works fine." I'm like, no, you were supposed to help me with this, but like that's pretty much the conversations that's happening around here. But yeah, man, so I think that could be a cool idea, especially if we go back to doing those movies, doing the movies for the show.
That's something, thank you, that's something I actually wanted to start back doing, especially now that we have Discord, that good listener participation would be start suggesting movies again, and we talk about shit, you know.
Yeah, last time I checked, the movie suggestion thing was still on the website. Yeah, it's still there. Movie suggestions. And it's just you and Jaybird.
Cool. I'll add one to the Discord as well.
So, I mean, we can do that. I'm cool with it.
But yeah, we can wrap
this up. That's loud. I don't know what that was. Like somebody just drove past.
It's freaking rednecks. Like on the Doki Doki streams, and now it's been like a freaking running joke to where every now and again someone would be like, "Fucking rednecks," just randomly because they'll be going down the road. And we're like, ignore the rednecks. So yeah,
it's ambiance.
Yeah, ambiance. It's Southern ambiance.
Absolutely. But yeah, we can totally get back to that. Did you want to talk about anything else before we wrap this up?
Let's do a question of the week, man. I haven't really thought about it too much. The good fallback would be asking something about food. It normally gets a pretty fired response every time. So, but because I mean that'd be I got
a food question. How can you motherfuckers eat chicken salad and tuna salad? That shit smells disgusting. How the fuck can you eat that?
Well, what are some things you eat that doesn't really smell all that great?
I don't go near shit that don't smell that great. I ain't about to eat no chitlins or no shit like that. That's not about to happen.
So you eat no collard greens?
Nope. Like I don't eat greens unless my grandma make me, and my grandma ain't here no more. So good luck with me eating some greens.
All right, man. But yeah, I guess that can be the question. Do you eat things that doesn't really smell that great? So
and
there you
why?
go.
And why?
And we'll read all the answers on the next episode. Will be live on the YouTubes.
On the YouTubes. So yeah, man. So I think that's it for us, man. I think we got everything out there, and I think we had a pretty good show.
Cool, man.
You know, the conversation continues in the Discord. There will be a link to the Discord. There's a link to the Discord in the show notes. If it's not already, it should be. But if it's not, then it will be. And you know, just come holler at your boys. Like, there's all kinds of different categories. We even got kids categories. And you know, so we can just chat and come see some paintings. Do your thing.
Cool, man. Yeah. Shout out to the Future Monkeys and Bad Fodder Figures and the Ron Blockers and the Mike J's and the Discord people.
Yeah, Mike J actually hit us up on Google Plus.
Yep. Getting in the graveyard. Freaking messing with those graves, man. They're going to come haunt you someday.
Yep. So yeah, for the homie Chase, I'm Scarfinger. This is Scarcasm Live, and we're out of here. Peace out to the Warriors, yo.
Peace out to them Warriors.
I'm doing the thing like I do on fucking Facetious, and like I just realized that we're not live. Like we have our video on to talk to each other, but we don't have like video on for anyone else to see. So that's kind of weird doing the thing, because I'm used to saying peace out to the Warriors and doing the peace sign, and and flipping it back and forth. But like, yeah, that kind of doesn't work if no one else can see it.
Word up.
I like that shit, yeah, boy. Yeah, I'm telling you, Whoa. I'm telling. All right, I ain't gonna talk.